You ever stop and wonder what makes people, you know, generous? Why would someone go out of their way, sometimes at a huge personal cost, just to help somebody else? Well, today, we're going to dive into the absolutely fascinating science behind human kindness.
I mean, really think about that for a second. It's a huge question, right? It gets right to the core of who we are. What would it take for you to put everything on the line for someone you've never even met? We see stories like this on the news, and it's just incredible, an act of pure, selfless bravery. But scientifically speaking, that's a real head-scratcher. It seems to fly in the face of our most basic instinct, which is, to save ourselves. So what is really going on here? What's driving these amazing acts of helping?
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this paradox, we've got to make sure we're all speaking the same language. Like with any science, getting the words right is the first step. So let's break down the language of kindness.
Here we go. We've got two huge concepts, pro-social behavior and altruism. Now they sound kind of the same, right? But trust me, that tiny difference in what they mean, it changes the whole game.
So think of pro-social behavior as this giant umbrella. It covers any action you take that's meant to help somebody else. This could be anything from donating to a charity to get a tax break or helping a coworker because you kind of hope they'll owe you one later. The motive can totally be about you.
But then you have altruism. And this is the one that gets scientists really excited. This is helping with zero strings attached. You do it just because you feel for that person, even if it's going to cost you time or money or even put you in harm's way. This is our subway hero.
All right, so we've got our terms down. So how do scientists actually explain where this stuff comes from? Well, there are basically three big theories out there, and they're kind of competing with each other, each one giving us a different piece of this giant puzzle.
So our first explanation takes us way, way back into our own DNA. The idea here is that our instinct to help might actually be hardwired into us from an evolutionary standpoint. From this perspective, helping isn't just about being a good person. It's a survival strategy. Kin selection is pretty simple. We're basically programmed to protect our family because they carry our genes into the future. And then there's the reciprocity norm, which is this unwritten rule of society. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. I help you now, you help me later, and we both have a better shot at making it.
Okay, so that's the genetics argument. But what if it's less about ancient programming and more about, well, a kind of social math that we do in our heads every single day?
This is what's called social exchange theory. And it basically says we're all walking, talking calculators. We might not even realize we're doing it, but we're constantly weighing the pros and cons, the cost of helping, like danger or time, versus the rewards, like people thinking we're great or just feeling good about ourselves. And if the rewards come out on top, we help. According to this idea, there's no such thing as pure altruism.
But what if all of that cold calculation just isn't the full picture? Our third theory says, hold on a minute. It argues that we actually can be truly selfless, that sometimes our actions are driven by something much purer than just self-interest.
This is where the empathy-altruism hypothesis comes in, and it's a game changer. It says when we truly feel for another person, like really put ourselves in their shoes and feel what they're going through, that's empathy. And when that kicks in, all the calculations go out the window. We help for one reason and one reason only, to make their suffering go away.
So you see the conflict, right? These theories throw down a huge challenge, a debate that's been raging in social psychology for decades. Can we ever really escape ourselves? Is a truly 100% selfless act even possible?
Basically, it all boils down to this. Are our motives ultimately about ourselves, egoistic, or about the other person, altruistic? Are we helping to make ourselves feel better, to get a reward, to not feel guilty? Or are we helping simply to make them feel better, out of pure empathy, without a single thought about what we get out of it?
And look, this isn't just some dusty academic debate. Thinking about this stuff actually matters a lot. Figuring out what really motivates us to help, or what stops us, has huge implications for how we build our communities and just live together.
So what actually pushes us to be kind? Well, the research points to some fascinating things. If you're in a good mood, you're way more likely to help somebody out. That feel-good, do-good effect is real. And funny enough, so is feeling guilty. We try to do something good to balance the scales. But check out that tallest bar. Seeing somebody else help someone, that is a ridiculously powerful motivator. This quote from Albert Schweitzer really brings it all home, doesn't it? It doesn't matter if the final answer is our genes, or a quick calculation, or pure empathy. The act of helping, of serving, just seems to be a fundamental part of what it means to be human.
So I'll leave you with this. The next time you find yourself helping someone, holding a door, giving to charity, whatever it is, just for a second, ask yourself, why am I really doing this? Is it an ancient instinct, a subconscious calculation, or is it just pure empathy? The answer might surprise you.